Can you believe it? Progressives are talking about finding a candidate to run in a primary against Obama. So, what's the problem with that? This is a democracy. If a Democrat wants to run against Obama, he or she should. Are you kidding me? You don't really mean that, do you? I do. The Tea Party keeps pulling Obama to the right. The center is moving in a corporate and authoritarian direction. So, Democrats need to support a primary challenger who will ensure a Republican wins in 2012. We both know that the primary challenger will likely lose, unless liberals become less craven in their support for Obama. Then, why waste money and time pushing a primary challenger if he or she is going to lose? Because the impact of running will mean that candidate gets some progressive issues into the 2012 election. Also, it will ensure the unions and other activists who have traditionally helped canvass and make phone calls to get out the vote for presidential elections actually organize in 2012. Let me get this straight. You want to see a Democrat Nader President Obama, Nader President Obama, Nader President Obama. What do you mean Nader President Obama? I mean cost Obama the election like Nader cost Gore the election. Nader didn't cost Gore the election. He cost Gore the election. He's responsible for 8 years of Bush. He's responsible for a war in Iraq, tax giveaways to the wealthy, giant deficits, an economic meltdown, and bank bailouts. That's absurd. Do you know anything about the continuity of government? The influence of business or corporate interests in Washington? Nader didn't cost Gore the election. Over 200,000 Florida Democrats voted for Republican George W. Bush. What's your point? Nader siphoned off over 90,000 votes. He knew he would spoil the election. If 1% of Democrats who voted for Bush in Florida had voted for Gore, he would have gotten more votes than Bush. Nader didn't spoil the election. Gore spoiled the election when he refused to fight for the presidency he had won. Nader is an egomaniac. What about voters who were disenfranchised, voting systems and procedures that failed, the party-line United States Supreme Court vote that declared George W. Bush the winner? Nader didn't betray African Americans whose votes were not counted. Gore did. You're no better than a Tea Party member. You're part of the Tea Party on the left. Your allegiance to this myth makes you comparable to a birther. The facts have been laid out for you. They clash with your need to hate Ralph Nader and blame him for much that is wrong. So, you twist facts and reason to suit your worldview. Nader misled voters when he ran and told them there wasn't a dime's worth of difference between Democrats and Republicans. President Obama misled voters when he used progressive rhetoric and then won the election and chose to only advance morally bankrupt and spineless centrist politics. You will be responsible for the election of Sarah Palin. You will help secure the death of the liberal class as we know it. Why should anyone listen to your political ideas? You are petulant, sanctimonious, and a child. You need to grow up. Be an adult. You are making a mistake. You need progressives who take stands and aren't afraid to stand up for what is right. Your hatred for people who challenge the status quo and act independently from democratic politics will leave you exposed. We won't have much sympathy when you continue to lose to the Tea Party, because you were working with the Tea Party to defeat the first black president in American history. No, because you marginalized us when we were trying to fight for values and principles we thought all Democrats or Americans should believe in. We tried to move the center in a less corporate, less authoritarian direction. You made fun of our arguments for change. So, by going after us, you became what was considered far left in this country. I'm not far left. The far left is irrelevant. I support President Barack Obama, and he is who we must support, because Republicans cannot be trusted to run this country and occupy the White House. I know. But the Democrats can. They will cave into corporations and the military-industrial complex after a zombie-like Republican Party bullies them and President Obama into submission every time. You're just upset that you are a radical and do not command a majority of public opinion, whatever that means. I hear MSNBC is hiring. They need someone to talk Rachel Maddow down. They need someone to tell Keith Olbermann not to get so angry during his show. They need someone to help Ed Schultz manage his blue-collar rage. They need someone to appear with Chris Matthews and Lawrence O'Donnell and go after progressives for having a vision. You are unrealistic and not practical. Name one progressive that can be elected. The situation in politics is bleak. But you are just helping powerful interests which you opposed when Bush was in power, when you go after people who dare to challenge the system. No act of rebellion is wasted.